This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Wednesday, September 19, 2018. Here's what we're tracking. Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago strengthened their relations today with the signing of a memorandum of understanding that focuses largely on cooperation in the energy sector, but with focus on other sectors, including security, youth, sport, and trade. The MOU was signed by President David Granger and Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago Dr. Keith Rowley after a more than 2-hour meeting that was described as intense. President David Granger told reporters after the signing that Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago have always shared good relations, and the signing of the new Memorandum of Understanding will only strengthen that relationship.
Today we have taken a step forward by signing this MOU, which is largely concerned with cooperation in energy. But there are other areas of interest, and we extended our conversations to deal with agriculture, to deal with sport, to deal with youth, to deal with security, and to deal with cooperation in other fields. And we expect that as a result of this engagement today, relations between our two republics will become stronger.
President David Granger also reminded that Trinidad and Tobago has always supported Guyana in its rejection of the territorial claim by Venezuela of Guyana's Essequibo region. The president said the two countries have always had a fruitful and long relationship, and Guyana has always regarded Trinidad and Tobago as a close friend in the international arena. Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley endorsed the statements made by the president. He said today's meeting and signing of the Memorandum of Understanding represents a documentation of the commitment between the two countries.
What today represents is a documentation of our commitment to do more in our neighborly relations with respect to the generation of economic and other kinds of activities for the benefit of the people of Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago. We anticipate that the role of the governments in laying the groundwork and providing the encouragement for private sectors to seize opportunities which are available to both countries at this time could only be a good thing for the people of Trinidad and Tobago and for the people of Guyana.
The Trinidadian Prime Minister added that he believes the MOU will lay the groundwork and provide the encouragement for the private sector of the two countries to seize opportunities that are available for both countries. He said that could only be a good thing. The Prime Minister said that in moving relations forward, the two countries should not be held back by bureaucratic impediments. He said the two sides also acknowledged that the replacement of the CARICOM single market and economy on the agenda of CARICOM has formed the basis for a unique development. Prime Minister Rowley will wrap up his visit to Guyana tomorrow and will brief his cabinet on the developments and agreements reached during the meetings with President Granger. Guyana's president has indicated that the MOU will be made public, and he believes it is one that citizens will agree with and support. More news in a moment.
We can do more with love. We can share strength with love. We can sail off to something beautiful. Yeah, all I need is more of you. All you need is more of me. Our love is all that we need. Yeah, I wanna love, wanna love, wanna love, wanna love, wanna love you right. Gotta let her love, let her love, let her love, let her love for the coldest nights. I wanna love, wanna love, wanna love, wanna love, wanna love you right. Gotta let her love, let her love, let her love, let her love for the coldest nights. So can we?
Welcome back, and still with the visit of the Trinidadian Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley today expressed his disappointment in the concerns raised by the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry about the signing of a memorandum of understanding between Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago that focuses on the energy sector. The MOU, according to the two leaders, has been long in the making. Recently, it stirred up some worry from the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry, which demanded that the president call off the signing until Guyana puts local content legislation in place for the oil and gas sector. Today, both President David Granger and Prime Minister Keith Rowley debunked concerns that Guyana would be on the losing end of any agreement. They said both sides stand to benefit. The Trinidadian Prime Minister said he was disappointed by some of the concerns raised by the local business community.
There's no secret, as you said, there's nothing in the MOU which seeks to harm the interests of one state or the other. There's no sellout. There were some unjustified fears that Guyana is giving away the family jewels, but that can't be true. It is simply a means of collaborating. Trinidad is bringing years of experience, not only in production, but also in marketing, in gas, in oil spills, in dealing with multinational corporations.
President Granger said there is nothing in the Memorandum of Understanding that seeks to harm the interest of the two states.
I can only say that for me, that is disappointing, because we are working towards ensuring that we as a people, not just a people of Trinidad and Tobago, but a people of the CARICOM, Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, do better for all ourselves. And to come up against that is disappointing. And to the extent that there is any potential takeover, which I don't think is happening or is going to happen. It is simply the participation of a good neighbor working with those who have the need for our presence.
Both leaders are confident that the agreement was much needed and will be beneficial to the development of Guyana's oil and gas sector. Let's tell you now that Guyana has signed a $20 million loan agreement with the Islamic Development Bank for the upgrade of the Guyana Power and Light Company. The agreement was signed earlier today in QA between Finance Minister Winston Jordan and the Vice President of the bank. Minister Jordan described the loan agreement as a celebration of the first loan to be granted by the bank to Guyana, in the process cementing the growing relationship and the proactive use of the indicative resource envelope for Guyana. He explained that the $20 million loan will support Guyana's power utility upgrade program, which is a component of our power company's development and expansion program for 2014 to 2021. He said the program incorporates necessary reforms and upgrades to reduce losses and improve the quality and reliability of electricity supply, and will, at the same time, help to transform Guyana's infrastructural landscape, boost our manufacturing sector, and improve the quality of life of Guyanese citizens. The finance minister also told the bank's officials that Guyana is on the cusp of a historic transformation with the recent discovery of over 4 billion barrels of oil. He explained that the International Monetary Fund has deemed Guyana's medium-term economic prospects as very favorable and predicts that the GDP will grow by 29.1%. Now to the mining sector. The Guyana Police Force and the Guyana Geology and Mines Commission are launching an investigation into another mining pit collapse that has claimed lives. Two miners, Dion Sproston and one identified only as Sean, are the latest mining pit collapse victims. The two and others were reportedly working in the mining pit at the Moesi Back Dam 2 days ago when the pit suddenly collapsed during heavy rainfall. The bodies of the two men were covered in mud and rocks for over 2 hours as other miners tried desperately to find them. When the bodies were eventually found, both men were dead. Police investigators have since taken statements from the other miners in the area. News source understands that the mining land where the incident occurred was owned by a local miner who passed away several years ago. Since the man's death, his land would be raided regularly by small-scale miners. The probe is underway. And finally, in the Georgetown Magistrates Court this morning, an East Rheinfeldt man was charged in connection with the murder of 23-year-old Freeman Street resident Roger Allen. The accused, 20-year-old Matthew Parks, was not required to enter a plea to the indictable murder charge when it was read to him this morning. He was remanded to jail and showed no signs of emotion as he was led in and out of the courtroom. The court was told that on the 13th of September at Chapel and Durban Streets, Parks brutally stabbed Roger Allen during an argument. Allen was rushed to a city hospital but died while undergoing surgery. His assailant was arrested soon after. The two men reportedly had disagreements before the stabbing incident. The accused will make his next court appearance later this month. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Alana Bose.